All right, hey everyone. My name is Parker Morozek. I am just turning 22 tomorrow, actually. And I want to say thank you to Big Steve first and foremost. And then I have two other people here that are very near and dear to my heart. Those would be my parents. I want to shout them out, bigger than anyone that I've ever known in my life. They've helped me with a lot. Without them, without their support, without their connections for people in the Manor, I would not be standing up here today. I'd either be dead, I'd either be in jail, or I would be still out there using and drinking. I can't say thank you to them more. There's no way I could ever possibly repay them. And the only way I can repay them is by standing up here with you guys. And so now that part's over, to tell you a little bit about me, I'm from Ohio originally, adopted from Poland when I was 3 years old, and from Columbus, Ohio. 14 was the first time I ever decided to pick up anything. First time I ever did anything, I drank by myself in my room after stealing vodka from my parents, of course, unbeknownst to them. And I thought I was happy. I was not the best kid in the world. I was very outgoing. I was very social. However, I was social and outgoing with the wrong crowd. I got into trouble at early age, nothing in the judicial system or anything, just stupid things, just absolute dumb, little child-like behavior that just was not warranted. I started stealing when I was really young. I loved it. I loved the rush. That ultimately led into the whole, I thought I am cooler than everyone else. I was the kid that would make jokes. I was the kid that would act up in class just to make people laugh at me because I wasn't happy with who I was, and that's the only way I could make people like me. So I thought. And then, as I said, 14, first time I ever picked up a drink. Then I went to high school, and that is when life got real hard real fast. I started hanging out with the druggies of the school. I started smoking weed. I started smoking or taking pills. I started drinking before, during, after school. I remember very few times where I was not messed up at least a little bit during school. And then fast forward a little bit. Decided that I was smarter than everyone. I decided I was smarter than my parents. I knew more than my parents. I knew how to run my life, and they knew nothing. Everyone else that was telling me to stop doing all this stupid stuff, I knew better than them. And I decided to run away from my house at the ripe old age of 18, thinking I had everything. I didn't have anything. I was couch surfing for a little while, and the whole time using marijuana, drinking every single day, not to get a little tipsy. I drank to get blacked out drunk because I was not okay with who I was as a person. And when I was blacked out, I don't remember what I did, but I had so many stories pour in the next morning. It was like, dude, you punched this person in the face and you got almost killed, stuff like that would constantly happen to me. And I'd wake up, black eyes, hurt ribs, and I'd be like, what happened, So I didn't remember anything. And then I decided to stop couch surfing. Well, okay, pardon, let me backtrack. I didn't decide to stop couch surfing. I kept getting kicked out of the houses that I was at because I continuously stole from them. And you steal from someone once, they'll be like, all right, maybe it was just like a one-time thing. You steal from them like 5 times, they're gonna kick you out, 100%. And then I started becoming homeless. I was sitting, I remember distinctly, sitting in a, it was like dead of winter. I am in a bathroom stall of a park, because that's the only place that it was not, there's no snow, and I was using a air dryer to keep myself warm. That was one of the lowest times I've ever had. I've had many other low times as well. That was probably the, it takes the cake though. And then it's just, throughout that I started hanging out with, if you thought the drug people were bad, I started hanging out and getting a little bit affiliated with gangs down in Columbus. I was never a part of it, no matter how much prior to that I repped that I was not. All I was affiliated. And it was one of those things where I found a quote-unquote family, because mine left me to die. So I thought. That is where my mind went, because I figured they didn't care about me, when in reality they were texting me, calling me, asking me if I'm okay, asking me if I want to get picked up, and I just ignored them because I wasn't ready to give up the fact that I want to smoke weed, I want to drink, I want to smoke crack, I want to smoke heroin, shoot up heroin. I want to do all these things that make me feel better, make me feel okay. Even if I was staring out of a little peephole in a door, making sure no cops or no one wanted to bust down the door to murder me, because that was the kind of crap that I did. And it was the most terrifying time in my life, because look at me. I'm a white boy. I am small. I am not scary at all. I am a nerd. And I'm walking around with big behemoths, terrifying people that have killed people, that have looked someone in the face, shot them in the face, and not felt anything. And I thought I was one of them. For the longest time, I thought I was the biggest hood rat out there, because I was so amazing. I was on top of the world. I had my new family. I had my own gun. I had a car. All these things were so amazing. And that's because I wasn't cool with who Parker was. I couldn't look at a mirror. If I walked past a window, I would turn so that I would be walking past it like this, so I wouldn't look at it. If I walked into a room and there ended up being a mirror in there, I would not look at it. But the whole time I was telling myself, I love myself. No, I didn't. Then let's fast forward. That was the drab and drear stuff. Let us fast forward into the beginning of my recovery. I started out in Ohio in a place that was okay. It wasn't amazing, but it was something that I needed to see. Like, that was kind of the worst spot that I could be in. There were bed bugs. It was nobody really there liked each other. It was kind of, it was not the best place, but it was some place to start. And this is, again, the beginning of my parents' journey getting me sober. Because for the longest time, they thought I was just gonna die. They were like, I don't even know where he is right now, you know? So they're like, okay, what can we do? This, that, and the other. Let's get him into a place. Sweet. We got him into a place. He hates it. All right, so what? But of course, I'm lying to them saying, oh, it's great. It's amazing. I love everyone. Then I started working at Panera. And as is my forte in the world, I left the sober house with a woman and ended up going back out after, I do believe it was like 62, 65 days, somewhere around there. Went back out, started hanging out with her, thought it was going to be a one-night thing, ended up being stranded in Nelsonville, Ohio for a whole entire, I do believe, a week, almost, maybe a little bit more. Of course, I got drunk first night. I got high first night, started snorting pills again first night. And then I started stealing bikes again. That was also my thing. Of course, I'm a kleptomaniac. Let's steal a bike. I can get easy at $200 for a bike that's worth $1,000 to buy it, you know? And this was very stupid. I got a tattoo on my arm. Don't remember really getting it. It has been since covered up, thank God, because it was despicable. It was attempted to be a cross. It had the general shape of it, but of course I was drunk, he was drunk. Nobody can really do anything when they're drunk. And he's like, dude, do you want a tattoo? And me in my drunken stupor, I'm like, yeah. That didn't work out too well. But then my dad, I called my dad. I got done with it. I'm like, I can't stay here. This is not fun. Because it was fun in the beginning. It was. I'm gonna be honest. I loved using. It felt amazing. It made me actually somewhat decently happy, unless I was in the stage of when I was drunk and I was just crying in a corner because I knew I was pardon my French, an asshole. And so I loved it. And it was weird for me to be able to call my dad and be, Dad, come get me. I need help. Like, what can we do? My mom started looking for another place for me. This place was in Utah. I got picked up by my dad. I still have the picture of what I looked like that day I got in that car. And it was not good. I somewhat remember the car ride down back to, I can't even remember actually. I remember getting in the car. I don't remember really much throughout that car ride, but then I remember being on the plane to go to Utah. And it was just me and my dad, and we get there. As soon as I saw the mountains, I fell in love. I fell in love with Utah. I loved it. I'm a mountain guy, not a big beach guy, so I love the mountains. Didn't really know that until I was flying over them, and I'm like, wow, these are crazy. I'm so small. Look at this. Like, I can't even see the top. So I fell in love with Utah the second I got there. When we landed, I can't remember if we stayed the night somewhere, but next thing I remember is walking into the place. Absolutely stunning house, absolutely stunning. And we walked in. I got orientated. Pardon, I don't know. I don't know how to say that. That's embarrassing. Huh? Oriented. Thank you. And kind of hit it off with people right off the bat. It was more of a 30-day to like 60 at the most, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, and then you're back into the transition house. So I did that, thought I was living life, got into the transition house, started working at McDonald's, making, I do believe, $10 an hour. Again, thought I was living life. I'm like, yeah, I'm working at Mickey D's, like, I'm good. Let's get it. That is, of course, again, not true. And I distinctly remember we were at a funeral for a mutual friend's boyfriend that died. And, at a funeral, everyone's all sad, crying. And of course, I start getting sad and crying, even though I didn't really know this kid that died. And that night, we went out, me and a couple of friends. We went out and we were at an IHOP eating dinner. And 3 people came in reeking of marijuana. That night, my friend goes, we're on the way home back to my transition house, which is where I needed to be that night. And he said, I can get some weed. Let's go do it. And me being the amazing AA citizen that I am, was like, oh, you guys can sit in the front. I will sit in the back and not smoke and watch you guys. Please, come on, I'm an addict and alcoholic. That's not gonna happen back in those days, like, they started smoking, and then we get to his apartment, and I'm like, ooh, all right, you know what, I'll take 1 hit. No, it didn't stop at 1 hit. I finished the whole entire thing. I could not really speak well because it was, again, 60, 65 days before the last time I used, and I was high as a kite. So I called someone, or actually I attempted to text, and my phone died. So I just took that as an omen, like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm just gonna continue. So I got a little drunk, continued smoking. And the next morning, the whole time I'm charging my phone, next morning I get the phone call of, "Where are you?" I'm like, oh God, here we go. My house manager, or sorry, not even the house manager, the owner of the house called me that night and asked me where I was. And I'm like, oh, I'm at Ty's house. And he's like, why? I'm like, because I kind of screwed up. I got high. So I got taken in again for a 2-week stabilization period. After that, my parents came down. The whole time during that 2 weeks, I talked to them, and they were telling me about what are the next steps. You know, you can't stay working at McDonald's for the rest of your life. Like that's, you know, it's not a good avenue to go through or go down. And so my mom brought up the Manor of Hope, and as a kind of a pleasing thing, I was like, all right, yeah, this sounds awesome. Yay, let's do it. And it did. It sounded appealing on paper. It did. You know, helped you get a job. It was a long term, which kind of freaked me out a little bit, but I'm like, okay, I'll just say yes to my mom right now. We'll figure it out. They came and picked me up from Utah, and here I am on my way to Pennsylvania. And the first moment that I walked up that driveway to the door of Manor of Hope, first and foremost, there were 2 people that were already there, and they were working. They were doing stuff on the house. I'm like, yeah, no, not going to be doing that. Thank you. Have a great day. Lo and behold, later that day I was working. So that was unfortunate. But I came in and I became decent friends with these guys. I was still not the person that is standing up here today. I have had many a struggle in the house. That's why I said he's put a lot of time and effort into me, because in his shoes, I would have given, in my parents' shoes, in his shoes, in everyone else's shoes, I would have given up on me like that, without a doubt. Because when I got into that house, I was abrasive, I was antisocial, I didn't like talking to anyone, I didn't like even being around anyone. And I still wouldn't look at myself really in a mirror, still. And it took a solid 7-8 months of bashing my head against the brick wall that was Steve, because he wasn't budging. He knew what I needed to do to get sober, and he sure as heck was not moving an inch. And I was pissed. I hated him for the longest time. I hated the Manor of Hope, because it made me feel stuff that I did not want to feel. It made me work on me. It made me think about myself not as that awesome human being I thought I was, that still wouldn't look at himself in the mirror, but kind of as a degenerate. And I did not like that in the slightest. Anyone that talked crap on me, I hate you. Because you talk crap on me, I'm definitely talking crap on you. Even if you're the most perfect person in this whole entire world, I will figure out one little teeny weeny thing I don't like about you, be it your hair's weird, your nose is weird, some stupid thing that is where my mind goes or went at that time, and I had to make fun of you for it because you're talking crap on me. How dare you? I'm amazing. After that 8 months, it literally was pretty much like one morning I woke up, and you can even ask him, this isn't just me saying this, he said it himself. I woke up one morning and it was like something clicked. I woke up and I said, I can't keep living like this. I have to start doing step work. I have to start living like a human being. I have to start actually speaking to my parents and talking to them as an adult, not a little child that stomps his foot when he doesn't get his own way. I have to start doing things for myself that are ultimately going to help me out later on down the road instead of right in this moment, because I was right in this moment kind of kid. Which, yes, the program that I am in, AA and NA, it is a in this day moment to the max, and I believe that wholeheartedly. However, because I am so young, I need to somewhat kind of have that little bit of a future plan. Not ultimately the future trip like, oh my goodness, I need a Tesla, I need this, that, and the other, like in my life after, you know, I'm 22 years old. That's not coming for a while, if ever. And unless my parents buy it for me. No, I'm just joking. And it's something that I need to focus on. I need to focus on my recovery because it is a selfish program. Yes, I care about everyone in this program that I am in. I do. And if a single one of them were to go out, I feel it in my heart. Like, damn, I wish they had gotten it, and I hope they come back. And dear God, please don't let them die. But at the same time, I have to take me for account. If I stop working on me, I can't do this stuff. I can't stand here and talk to you guys and let you guys know that my story is because of this program and is because of Manor of Hope. I would not be able to look at you in the face. I would not be able to stand here, look at myself in that window and say, I love you. And to each all of you, I love all of you. I love people now. I would not be able to survive without standing up here and just mingling with you guys and talking to you guys and telling you guys my story. Because yes, my story sucked in the beginning. It was terrible. I hated that aspect of my life for the longest time. But to look at myself now, I'm proud as hell at myself. Not to the point where I'm cocky about it, but I have to realize I was not okay back in the day. I am okay now. I'm okay with myself. I'm okay with Big Steve. I love that man. I can honestly say I love a man nowadays. And I can say I love my parents nowadays. I can say I love my sister nowadays. I can say I love myself nowadays. In the program, we have a saying that says, life beyond your wildest dreams. My wildest dreams were I might get $1,000 of crack today. Yes, back then. Now, my wildest dreams are where I'm freaking standing right now. I have a job that I love. I've moved up in a company. I used to be part-time. Now I have built myself up by doing stuff I didn't want to freaking do in that company to build myself up to getting full-time now. I'm able to apply for benefits at 22 years old. That's insane to me. I have my own car now. I'm paying my parents off for that car because I'm getting money now that I'm not spending away on alcohol and drugs. I have two parents that never stopped loving me, but damn, they are in my life now. And I have never been happier to say, I love my parents. I can now honestly stand here and say, look at me. I'm a man. I'm not a boy anymore. Because that's what I used to be. I used to be a little kid running around, stomping his foot, scared as hell. I'm sometimes scared now, and I'm okay. I can ask for help. If I need it, I can come up to any one of you. I can come up to anyone in my sobriety circle. I can go up to my sponsor because I have a sponsor, and he knows he's my sponsor. I call him. Last week, I just finished my 12th step. I say finished only because I went through all 12. I will forever be living in those 12 steps. That's something that I personally will adhere to for the rest of my life. And I will continue going through them. 10, 11, 12 are the three that every single day you need to do. And that's what I need to do to keep me standing here in front of you guys and in front of a plethora of other people that need to hear this message, because there is hope. There's something in me that changed, and it's only because of this program that by some miracle just decided to pop up right when I freaking needed it. And it's helped me 10 times over than I could ever ask for. And I love every single one of the people that I've come in contact with. I love all of you guys, and thank you all for coming here. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Congrats.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you. Yep.
Sorry, everybody. Help yourself up there. There'll be a little bit of a line, so.
Happy birthday. Thank you so
Get
much.
started. Maybe the closest table.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Clark, you are amazing. You stay strong. You're so blessed.
Thank you.
Stay strong.
I will. Thank you so much.
You did awesome, honey. You did great. Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Got to get this off me so he doesn't hear my every word as I'm eating. Be kind of weird. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No. Hi, Lauren.
My fiance.
Sorry, pardon.
She's the house.
Kev. Here you are. I figured you probably don't want to hear me chew.
So, like, that's what I was hoping. I was hoping you forget. Just, like, eat
Like,
oh my God, that hamburger sounds so good. I'm gonna listen to this all the time.